Welcome back to Data Cloud Now. In today's Data Leaders episode, we are exploring Streamlit, which makes creating web apps from Python fast and easy. Data scientists are able to go from data and models to deployed apps in a matter of hours and only with a handful of lines of code. I had the opportunity to sit down with Streamlit co-founder Amanda Kelly. Let's hear her founding principles and what impact Streamlit is having on the broader developer community. I'll see you soon.
The genesis of Streamlit was, for your people working with data, can we enable them to run a much faster, a much more agile, rapid iteration cycle where, what you're doing is you're interacting with your stakeholders, whether that's, a product executive or someone from marketing or an external customer. They're telling you a deep need that they have, right? That's related to data or it's related to machine learning. How can we involve this in a much faster loop, right? So this is not kind of a big, you give me requirements 6 months later, right? I give you a tool. How can we enable these teams to self-serve and do that? And so what we built was Streamlit. And Streamlit is an open source library. It's Python based. And what it does is it just allows people to very quickly basically write front end code, right? You can just say ST button, right? And a button appears. And what that makes it really, really easy to do is to take the things that these data teams are really, really good at. They're really good at diving into data, to understanding it, to structuring it, and then to surface that in a UI that maybe they use themselves, right, as a tool because some things are just better done visually in a tool, or maybe they ship that to somebody else so they can do this fast iteration loop. And that's, I always say if we have 3 values at Streamlit, it's fast, fast, and fast. And that's what we really focus on is can we get you to that speed to insight faster? If you had that insight today, what decision would you make differently, right, than if you had that, 3 months from now?
I absolutely love their values. Fast, fast, and fast. I'm sure that's music to many developers' ears. In February of 2023, Streamlit hit a key milestone, more than 1 million monthly views on Streamlit. Let's hear about the impact Streamlit's having on the overall industry. I'll see you in a minute.
When we first started Streamlit, our goal was really about empowering developers. Right, so we were focused a lot on Python developers, and we still focus. That's still our primary focus, which is can we make a magical development experience that people like that helps them build the things that they need. But app development in general, really is kind of it's a two-sided process. It's about both what does the developer make, but also who uses it, right, and how do they use it, and ultimately the impact of the work that people are having is whether or not someone is consuming it, and so. When we look at viewers, that's really exciting to us, right? It's exciting to see this grow, even faster, necessarily than the number of developers, because it means the impact that developers have is growing. And I think that's a thing that a lot of data teams, crave for, right? They're often not seen as the heroes, right, in their org. And we really think those people are heroes, right? They can and they should be having more impact. And so it's really, really exciting to see the community building things that's used, both internally, right, by lots of users and the marketing team, the sales, the product teams to have that impact, but also in the world. And, one thing to always keep in mind with Streamlit is, we are an open source project, right? And so a lot of what we do is focused on the community. It's focused on Python in general and just about what we can do to really help push Python forward, right? How can we help push data forward? How can we help make it so that, if there's a COVID-20, right, bug that's coming out, right, we can help people spread that information, right, and really have impact with their work.
Listen, this is just the tip of the iceberg. To hear a more in-depth conversation, jump over to the Data Cloud podcast. Don't worry, links are below. I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. We'll see you next week.